What in God's name is going on in here?
52.
52, man. We doing it? 52?
52.
Oh, man. Let's do this, man.
52nd episode.
Yeah.
It is.
52, man.
You got numbers?
I got a couple. You got any?
Uh,
No?
Us.
I have
Us.
one.
How about us?
Well, there's there's us.
hey, there you go. Yeah.
Our YouTube subscribers.
52 subscribers.
52.
Yeah, 52 subscribers, man. We got 50.
52 fans.
Mike Jones,
Mike-
linebacker from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones, yeah.
Come
He's,
on,
right, he's rapper. Yeah, he's famous now.
Who'd you got?
I got Ray Lewis. Of course, he killed somebody. They say that
Yeah.
they allegedly say
Hey,
he
where's
killed
that white suit?
somebody. Yeah, that's trash. They dumped it in the trash, man. So we got Ray Lewis, and then we also have I forgot the details. I used to know the details on this because he was very fascinating. They had 52 hostages. Excuse me, 52 hostages. I should have ate too many tacos. 52 hostages in Iran in 78, 79. I think Carter was the president. We had the hostages with the Iran thing, and they had
On a plane?
50. No, they said some Muslim revolutionaries took over
Embassy.
an embassy, yeah, and they had the hostages. I think that's the one where we had that's the movie that had what's his name? Ben Affleck was in it. Was it that the one? I don't know if that's the one
I
with
think
Ben
it may
Affleck.
have been.
The one with Ben Affleck, yeah. But yeah, so 52 had that. Yeah, 52 hostages were taken. Diplomats and just other citizens were taken. But yeah, man, we're here. Made it all. We're all together. All four are here together. Just of course some tacos, man. Tacos were delicious, man.
Shout
Thank
out.
you, Sean.
Shout out.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you, man. That means a lot,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
It means a
Taco
lot,
Daddy.
man.
Dexter Coakley, linebacker for the Cowboys from the 90s.
Oh, dude, yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about him, dude. It's been a while. What was
Backtrack.
that? What was Cox?
Wait. You
Backtrack.
just pulled that out?
Backtrack.
Okay.
Was his what about Cox? No, he used to play with the Dolphins. Linebacker too. I think he might have been something else. He might have been number 50. I'm not sure. Something
That
Cox.
soundbite on that one.
Yeah, there was a cock.
When he
played
goes,
with
what
Dawson.
about Cox?
Well, what about Cox? Yeah, Cox Cable. Yep, that's a good cable company too. Cox Cable. Yeah, man. I was going through, man. Netflix is jamming, man. Netflix is jamming right now. A lot of cool shit. They got the Comic Wednesday. I think Wednesday. When this airs, it's gonna be a week later, but Wednesday they're gonna air Waco. It's gonna be a new Waco special
Okay.
on the Branch Davidian the compound there.
Oh yeah, I saw
It's a
that.
brand new one.
Coming this Wednesday?
Yeah, this Wednesday this
Okay.
week.
All right.
Well, yeah, when it airs, it'll be past. But yeah, either way, Netflix got that going on. The other thing I came across was they got this thing. It's pretty 52 episodes gonna be pretty dark, man. It's gonna be a dark one, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Jared from Subway. He's got his own little documentary on Netflix. It's called Catching a Monster.
Uh-oh.
Jared from Subway. And I was
Is
always
Chris Hansen on it? Featuring Chris Hansen?
Yeah, he had to sit down with him.
Yeah.
No, so getting into the documentary, I watched it all. It's a short one, so I didn't mind watching it. It's 3 episodes. They get into the thing. I thought he was into what was it? I thought he was into boys. He was more into the little gals, and that it's either way it's disgusting. But I thought he was more for the boys. He was more of the gals. I was corrected on that one. So yeah,
still a pedophile,
oh,
right?
still, yeah, it's still disgusting.
say,
like I said.
still a
Either way,
pedo.
it's gross. But yeah, so they were going into it, and the documentary starts with him and his buddies. It goes in on him right away. Like he's got 2 high school not friends, but 2 high school acquaintances, and they're like, when you go to Jared, we were going to high school with him, man. He was a fat piece of shit. They go in on him hard right away, dude. Like it's like there's no holding. Nobody sat with him at lunch. He was by himself and shit. And so anyway, he went out to college. He finished high school, went out to college. He started going to school. He would, like I said, the story. He would walk down to the subway. He wanted to turn his life around. He was pushing. I think he was pushing 4.5 bills. He was 400 something pounds, man. And he would
Started eating them cold cuts.
yeah. So what his meal was, his diet was a small turkey sandwich for lunch, and I said sandwich with the G, and then for dinner he'd have a veggie delight or some shit at night for his thing, and that's what he would have. And that's all he would have, and he'd walk, and he'd lose weight. He ended up losing 245 pounds. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Off of the
Yeah,
subway.
the subway, man, walking. Not no really workout. That's a good picture. So he lost 245 pounds. And then he fell into Subway's into their lap, man. He kind of fell in their lap, and he became like a spokesman. They brought him in. He started doing schools, telling kids how to
Hold those big
the
pants.
pants.
on
He
the
always had the
pants up,
pants,
yeah.
man. He always had the pants.
So how did they find this cat? Like you said, they
Oh, so
fell into the lap.
so what happens? He would go into the same Subway every day, and I guess like the manager or whatever said, "Hey, man, you lost weight." Like they told their
Corporate
region
office, yeah.
the corporate office, and they got involved, and then they came down and they offered him a spokesman job. So yeah, granted, they didn't know anything about him. He was still nobody knew his story, his backstory yet. So he did his first commercial, and like all these people from high school were like, "Oh shit, just Jared, he's making commercials, like he's famous now and shit." So started doing that. Like I said, started doing the schools and shit. Um, then he went down to Florida. He went down to Florida.
For spring break.
No, yeah,
No?
no shit. He went down to Florida and he was doing some schools down there. And he ran into this lady. She's a radio personality down in Florida. Her name was Rachel, and she started working with him. And she was like, she got him on the radio. She was chit chatting with him and whatnot. And they were doing this one school together. And he was like flirting with her. He was a single guy. He was like flirting with her and stuff. They were doing some flirting. And so they go to this school, and she goes with him. She's like doing like behind the scenes story with him to get to know him. They're at the school there, and she said they're sitting on a couch, and he puts his hand on her knee, and he reaches over and goes to her ear, and he tells her, he's like, I really find these high school girls are real sexy, and she's like, what did you say? And he's like, and then the people started coming, and he straightened himself, and he just kind of went out, he blew it off, she was just still shocked what he said to her. So anyway, it goes on. They continue to stay in contact and shit, and then it gets to the point where she wants to see where he's going with this. So she starts after she interviews him. He goes on. They can stay in communication. He goes, "Well, tell me more about this. What?" And she started like she was trying to reel him in to see where he was going with this. So he said, "Yeah, I'm into this and that, and I'm into kids and little girls, 14, 13 years old, and
Set him up for the okie doke.
yeah, man." So she was getting him all set up, and he just started telling all this shit and all this
Wow.
perverted shit. And she had kids, and she had 2 kids. She had a boy and a girl. And there was at one point, they started getting hot and heavy because she was trying to, because she saw how popular he was. She didn't know everybody in the world thought this guy's he's a pop icon. He's taking pictures with all the stars and all this shit. He's on red carpets and shit because people think he's a good guy because he's losing weight, he's helping kids with weight loss and whatnot. So she's like, well, this guy is a monster. He doesn't need to be in this limelight. I need to bring, we should let people know what he's doing. So she says she gets involved. She keeps talking to him, and then eventually started messing around a little bit. Then he's like, she's trying to catch him, so he's like, and then I forgot exactly how it went. But needless to say, in the end, he asked her, would you be down to have your kids involved in some stuff if we did some stuff together? And she was just, after that, she said, I couldn't do it no more. She goes, I was recording him. She goes, but I couldn't take it no more. And she gave the recordings to the police and whatnot. And it did nothing really happen. And then went from there. And then he just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we'll see what else. Then he got so big, he was making so much money that he started his own foundation, the Jared Foundation. And he had this guy running with him called Russell Taylor. And this cat was dirty as shit, man. This guy was he was this buddy. He was this guy running his foundation, but he was also pervert too. He was a pervert as well, man. He had his own little family, and he had stepdaughters that moved in, and he had like cameras in their room so he could watch them undress and stuff like this. And so he had all this footage. That guy, Russell Taylor, that was his partner in crime, and he was selling these videos, and he also had bestiality videos and shit like that. They were just real perverted.
Is this why you gave me the warning before I came in here?
Yeah, it's gonna be a dark episode. Yeah, it was gonna be weird. But so anyway, needless to say, in the end, that guy Russell, he got popped. They caught him. The daughters, the stepdaughters, they got. I forgot how he got caught, but he got caught with the shit on his laptop, and then it was connected to Jared, and they started questioning Jared. And they brought his ass in, and they went through his house, and they found some shit on his computers at home, and it just snowballed from there.
So was he? Did he offend on anyone, or was he just a pornography kind of child pornography guy? What they caught him with?
Jared or the Russell guy?
Jared.
Yeah, he was he also
I'm asking, did he have victims? Did they find?
Oh yeah.
victims?
So what it was she was talking, that lady Rochelle from Florida. She was talking to him. They were in communication. He goes, yeah, right now I'm in Thailand right now. I'm having a good time in Thailand. He goes, I'm having a good time. I'm running into some action. Like I'm getting some action over here, like with some, you can basically you're saying I can buy whatever I want when I'm down here. I can get whatever I want when I'm here. And he was getting, And I think over there he was getting both. He was getting both girls and boys, I think. But I think he was more into the gals. But yeah, he was it's a shady documentary, man. It shows how shady, how dirty he was, and it's just weird. He would just turn it off and on, like when he get into the spotlight, he thought he was a good kid. He was a good guy. He was there for the public, and it was just
Is he locked up?
He's locked up, but he's almost out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jared?
yeah, he's almost out. I know the guy, his buddy, the Russell Taylor guy. I think he's almost out too. They're pretty soon. They're gonna be out soon.
How long did they serve?
It wasn't long, man. It was maybe. Let me see. I can't recall what it was. Let's see. Not long, dude. I'm saying it was not long at all. Oh, 15 years. My bad. 15 years they got. Both of them got 15 years, and they're almost done with it. So and that was back in the day. So
See, Epstein didn't even want to do that.
No.
yeah,
He didn't
It's,
even want to do that.
it's
Wow.
it's a terrible situation, man. That whole, but like I said, it was interesting to see because I said I knew the story, I knew the gist of it, but I didn't want to see the details broken down. March 24th, 2029, he'll be out. He'll be at his earliest release. He'll be out
2029.
2029. Yep. So
You don't
6
have to
more years.
register.
Yeah, register as a sex offender. But yeah, man, that's I saw.
It sucks for Subway, man. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Dude,
The thing about
you
it,
put a lot of money into a
can you
guy,
imagine
right?
the
Yeah.
marketing guy for
Yeah.
Subway? He sees it on the news and he's just like, you know what?
We're done.
This is not happening.
but right when when Subway saw that Russell Taylor guy, excuse me, saw that Russell Taylor guy get pinched, they started asking Jared, hey man, we're gonna start cutting ties here. So before he could even get to that point where he got his house raided, they already had cut ties with him and got rid of him. So they kind of knew it was coming. They knew that.
I don't remember. Did it hit the news as like Subway spokesman, or
Yeah.
was it like former Subway spokesman?
I kind of remember. I thought he had.
Can't
And
remember.
of course, they probably knew quicker, right?
yeah.
It seemed to me like he had fallen out of the spotlight a little bit before
Before.
the story came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't on the commercials
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
much.
yeah.
he did. I forgot how many commercials he did, and then it was weird to see him taking pictures with like Shaq and all these people. And I'm sure now they probably fucking it's like shit. I didn't. Who the fuck knew? The other thing was, oh man, what
They
was
got
it?
Steph Curry now. It's all good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They're doing all right.
Romo.
But yeah, the
Yeah.
little so that's the one I was gonna tell you guys. The Russell Taylor guy, his partner that was running his foundation thing. So he had his stepdaughters and his wife. That she had kids already when they got together. So she had 2 stepdaughters.
Yeah.
Anyway, the stepdaughters, they were speaking out. They're like, our mom, when she met Russell, she was a church going lady. She was good. She didn't go out late. When she started dating him, she said she did away with church. She started staying out late. She let the girls have parties and get high and get drunk. They were like 15, 16-year-old girls having parties with weed, and her mom just went a whole different route when she met this guy. And then when that guy Russell got popped, they had text messages of him and those two girls, their mom, which was his wife. They found all the text messages, and it was her, and they were doing they had bestiality going on. She was into bestiality. She was like had her with canines and whatnot, dude, and all kinds of shit, dude. So it's a sketchy thing how it went down, man. It's a real sad situation, man. How that went down, So these 2 little girls were just kind of they were on. I guess they were just left to fend on their own. They kind of got loose, and their mom went to jail. And in fact, you know what the craziest part is? You got the I know she was doing the bestiality, which is disgusting. But the guy, you got Jared and you got the Russell guy, and they did 15 years, and she ended up getting like almost 40 years for the bestiality, and then I guess like leaving her girls in danger.
Yeah.
So that's why she got like 40 years. So she's gonna be locked up for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And this is on Netflix.
Netflix, man. It's like 3 episodes. Like I said, it's called Subway Catching a Monster. Jared from Subway Catching a Monster. But
It's crazy. Those type of folks seem to find one another. They're so out there.
Yep.
And and I guess with the internet, dark web type chat rooms and places they can hang out. I mean, but they seem to find one another, have a little.
Yeah, those pervs flock together.
Yeah.
Huh?
And no featuring Chris Hansen.
No, Chris Hansen didn't make it. He had his own problems, man. He didn't pay his fucking taxes, dude. So he's got his own. He's got his own tax. He's got his own fucking problems,
Jammed
man.
him up.
Somebody needs to sit his ass down and ask him, anyway, pay Uncle Sam, dude.
Yeah. Where you been?
But then kind of that's what I said it was gonna be a dark one. I said, Jared, that was terrible, dude. And then So I was looking at this and, again, deep diving and shit. I gotta clean my browser there because it's probably disgusting.
FBI.
Yeah,
FBI's
yeah,
looking.
come down on
You're
me.
on a watch list.
Hey,
for
watch
sure,
that
yeah.
door for me right there.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I was doing a deep dive, man. So I was checking out things, and then I've been seeing Corey Feldman for a while. Lost Boys, Corey Feldman, Goonies, all that shit. And I've been watching him for the past couple of years, man. He's doing music now and singing and shit. And everybody chalks him up as that dude's crazy as shit, man. Don't pay attention to him. He's nutty as shit. And people say that to him because he's come out since 2010, 2011. He's been coming out and telling people, "Hey, man, Hollywood's a dirty, perverted place, man. There's a lot of pedophiles out there in the Hollywood world. These producers and these casting directors." He goes, "There's monsters in there, and they're rich and they're making money." He goes, so he was saying all this, and then he brought up a name. Uh, what was the guy's name? Bob Hoffman, and he was one of the big casting directors back in the day. He was in charge of like Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, all these shows that were coming up in the '80s,
Yeah.
and that's how Corey was getting roles and shit because he knew this guy, and the guy's son
So
was
he worked with him.
yeah, he was like a
worked
cast.
with
So
his
he was
son.
like he saw him, he liked. He was like, "I want to cast you for this commercial," or because he did
Yeah.
commercials for a lot before he got
I
into
think
movies.
he name dropped because that guy wasn't in the scene anymore.
Yeah,
So that's why he name dropped because he really didn't even want to put that name out
didn't.
there.
he was
and-
he was on Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
And Dr. Oz is like, well, Corey was like, "Man, I don't want to say because I don't have representation right now, and I don't want to get caught up in a bunch of shit." He goes, "I don't want to say anything." He goes, Dr. Oz is like, "Well, I'll take the onus, and I'm going to tell this guy's name." Like,
Right,
they show the
right.
picture, and they show the guy's name, and the guy was Bobby Hoffman. And then so what it is that Bobby Hoffman had a son, and his name was Alfie, and Alfie's the one who would go pick up Corey from his house, and his mom was like, "Yeah, go along. There's gonna be like underage parties." What it was, that guy would throw parties for the underage stars, for all the underage actors, stars like Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, all these people,
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, all these stars, these kid stars, and they would go to these parties, and yeah, that guy Alfie would go pick him up. The guy would come to my house, he'd pick me up. My mom would say, "Go have a good time," and all this time he's going with this guy, and they're going to these parties. He goes, "The first 2 times I went, they're pretty innocent, man. It's pretty chill. It's kind of there was a little drug, little weed there, little
Grooming,
alcohol,
little grooming behavior.
yeah, little alcohol, little stuff." He goes, "But then the third or fourth time I went, shit got serious. Like they were giving us drugs, they're giving us heavy drugs like Quaaludes and shit, and people were doing shit." He goes, and the sad part is, he goes, you would see these guys, other guys, like people who were in the biz around. Like he goes, "I remember one time I was doing my thing, I was dancing, I was having a good time. I wasn't thinking about it, and I was having a good time. I was doing my Michael Jackson dancing and shit because he was real big into Michael Jackson. So Corey Feldman was doing his dance thing. People were standing around him, and then he's doing his thing, and these guys are checking him out, and then they're like, they start talking to him, and then it's like a group of guys. He goes, "These guys, if you knew them, you know them if you saw them in public, like in the Hollywood world, you know who
Yeah.
they are." He goes, "And it's pretty fucking scary that these guys are fucking with boys and shit." And
Yeah.
it was a sad thing, he said. And he goes, if you ever seen Lucas, Corey Haim in Lucas, he goes, that's when that's when I saw it all. He goes, because not on the set necessarily, but like after the shoots, that Corey Haim was getting like raped in the behind the scenes, like behind closed doors and shit, man. He said he saw that, and he goes, and then when we were doing Lost Boys, he goes, we were both getting sexually assaulted during
Yeah.
those movies. We're getting sexually assaulted,
I
and
feel
nobody
like-
was believing him, dude.
I feel like Corey Feldman. I mean, he was the one that I say recently, within the last couple of years, like came out and was like apologizing to the other guy. He was just like, I knew and I just didn't say anything,
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's crazy. Hollywood is, you hear those stories. You saw Terry Crews
Yeah.
Yeah,
said
yeah,
he was sexually abused.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
that says a lot, man.
it says a
Means
lot. And I
yeah.
mean, and it says a lot for the fact that he is who he is with his persona.
Right.
He doesn't have to say that.
He ain't no small fry either.
No. I
No.
mean,
And like you say, he's a man's man. He doesn't shouldn't have to. He shouldn't. You wouldn't think he would say it.
you would think
but
he would
did.
just
right.
keep
Okay,
that. I'm not gonna
yeah.
tarnish my
Yeah.
my masculinity
Yeah,
out
but
here.
at the
by
same time,
saying this, but-
think about it. If he would have like wiped the floor with that dude, then he would have been in some real trouble.
But I think it's it's almost like they're using that. You're not going to get a role if you don't go along.
Oh, yeah,
with
and
it, right? that's the deal. You're getting blackmailed basically.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
to go even, the dive goes even deeper, man. I'm gonna go deep sea here, and there's even more. So watching that Corey Feldman thing, he mentions a movie. It's called An Open Secret, It's a documentary about the pedophilia ring. You didn't get the word out. Pedophilia ring in Hollywood, and so that documentary, dude, is it starts off. Documentary starts off with how different strokes uh, addressed uh, how people getting molested. It was Arnold, what you talking about, Willis Arnold, little
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's going to this bike shop, and the guy that owns the bike shop takes him in the back. He's trying to take naked pictures of him and shit, and he's giving him like ice cream and shit. And but they address that situation, the sexual assaults and shit. So, but that was the first show to address that shit, man. Like they weren't afraid to talk about it, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew back then, but I didn't know this guy was gonna be. What's his name? Willis, his brother. He was in it, and he was like,
Todd
"Man, watch it."
Bridges.
Yeah,
Todd Bridges.
he goes, "When they were doing this episode, he goes, when they were shooting that episode, man, I couldn't even be on the set, man." He goes, "Because I went through that shit, you know, a couple years before we shot that
Yeah, Todd
episode. He goes,
Bridges.
I was going through that shit." He goes,
He's
"So
in
I was
prison
hard."
now.
And
Yeah.
he was heavy on the
Yeah, yeah,
drugs.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that
big on drugs. Yeah.
could have ruined his life, right?
Mhm. So that documentary, An Open Secret, man, it had it went deep, and it went into that thing. There was one guy, I forget what his name was. One particular guy from the Midwest. He goes, "Man, I want to go to Hollywood." He was a good looking kid. He was a teenager, came out of high school, good looking kid. And he goes, "Man, I want to go to Hollywood. I want to be in movies. I want to be in commercials." He goes out to Hollywood, man. His parents were like, "Nah, shouldn't do that." He goes out there, man. He runs into this group of kids, and again, it's a big producers, big casting directors, and he gets in. It's like a house, and these guys, it's just nothing but dudes and this little teenage boys. They pick them, they hand pick them through commercials. They see them like, "I want this one, I want this one," and they would take them to this house. And like you said, they feed them drugs, and the rule was if you're gonna get into after dusk, we get in this hot tub, but you got to be butt naked when you get in this hot tub. When you get in this hot tub with us, and this is like the main guy, like one of the main guys to get you gigs and shit. And the guy that came from the Midwest, he's like, "Dude, I don't want to do this," but the guy's like, "Well, if you don't do this, you don't get no roles, man.
don't live here.
You don't get no roles. You're gonna have to get out of here. You got to go." So they
I don't know much about. Is that along the same lines as Pizzagate, or what's Pizzagate? That's the
Pizzagate.
same.
That's when the underneath the pizza parlors, there were supposed to be like children being molested and they said it was like Hillary was involved and all that shit. But I don't know about that one because they said that's a conspiracy, which I don't know about that one.
It's funny that you bring all this stuff up because me and my old lady were watching something on. I think her name is uh Jenny McCarthy,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
she was part of the whole Nickelodeon thing,
Mhm.
but she was on the same show with what's the big uh Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we saw this in one. They were on the same show, and one spills her guts, right, about what this producer was doing, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But then you have this megastar that was on the same show, and how come she didn't say anything?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, was she
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
right?
And some know not to bite, and some they speak up.
So it's just kind of odd because, like I said, they were both on the same show,
Yeah.
and this one is like way the hell up here, and then this one is just like I spilled my guts. I told you exactly what's going on in this ring,
Yeah.
but I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
I've heard the the modeling world is as bad or worse. That these families, everyone thinks they have the prettiest daughter in the world or the best looking kid, and
Yeah.
these agents make these promises, and for one, they're scam money from people. Everybody's buying the dream, right? But then they send these young girls off to these cities, and they go and basically live in these camps, right? I call them camps, but it's with other people in houses like
At
that.
the
You're
house,
basically
yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
your family to
Yeah.
go here, and you're being thrown into these things. Your family's feeding money into it, and
Under the pretense
Yeah.
that this is what you have
this
to
is
do.
what you have to
gonna be
do,
cute
to
and
be in-
and those young people are, they're getting taken advantage of. Only a handful make it, right?
Yeah.
So where do the
Yeah.
rest go?
Yeah, that guy that was from the Midwest, I think his name was Ryan or something like that, and he went to Hollywood, and after all that, he came. His parents like, come back home. He came back home. He was living in the basement, and his dad said I was his dad. He came back home and he was staying at home, and and his dad was going through some stuff in his basement because he was looking through some paperwork, and the dad came across a deposition, and it's his son saying, I dealt with this. I saw my buddy get my buddy was they went with him. A friend of his that he met over there was getting molested, there in the room when they were having sex with kids and shit. And he's like, all this stuff. His dad's reading this stuff, and his dad's like losing his damn mind, like Jesus, man. So anyway, the kid comes back. He's like a crazy alcoholic. He can't function with alcohol. His parents say, "Look, you got to get it together, man. I mean, I know you're going through shit, but you got to get it together because uh, you just got to get your life together, man. We got to let you. We're gonna kick you out of the house if you don't get your shit together." So he's gonna do it cold turkey, but the doctor said, "Don't do it cold turkey because he could stroke out or something like that could happen to him. You have a seizure for doing it cold turkey." Does it cold turkey anyway, didn't listen, so he ended up having, I think it was like a seizure or some kind of stroke or something on the couch. They take him to the hospital. He's in the hospital. His parents finally get there. Doctors pull his parents into the room and say, he's not gonna make it. Looks bad. Uh, they say he's not gonna make it. Looks bad, and so that happens, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna keep him on, the respirator or whatever." He's like, and he goes, you got 72, was it 72 days or 72 hours? 72 hours or 72 days? I think it was 72 days that they were gonna give him, and then they were gonna pull his plug. So his parents like, "You're not gonna do that. Just give him a chance." And then they said on day 68, he came out of the coma. He woke up.
Jeez.
But now this is when the documentary is wrapping up, and the dad's like taking blankets and shit. And he's he's like at a hospital, like a thing where he's like a mental, not a mental patient, but like where he's what's that word, like for the like hospice kind of thing.
Like rehab.
Yeah, and he's in a wheelchair and he can't move and shit. He just pushes buttons to talk and shit. And but yeah, that's what it is. Like he's that the alcohol. He was so addicted to alcohol and drugs, and when he did it cold turkey, it fucked him up, man. When he tried to go
Jeez.
get off of it, so he ended up he's in a wheelchair and shit. And that buddy of his that was going through the shit with him is there with him, supporting him too. So he's there. The guy that got molested with him was there too, still supporting him to this day and shit. But it's a sad. There's more to that documentary. That was like an hour and a half documentary. It was really good though. It was very eye opening. And Corey Feldman was in that one a couple times. Just saying, man, you just don't. He was on like The View. He was on some other one of those morning cackling shows, and he was just telling them, don't bring your kids to Hollywood. Like, let them be kids. Don't do this to them. And then fucking Bubba Walters was like, you're ruining the image of California. He goes, well, I don't care. Like, I want people to know this is a fucking cesspool. This is not somewhere nice to bring your family or your kid.
Yeah.
And for me, when it wrapped up, for me, it was just like, I looked at, I know people want their kids to be famous, but I think some of the fault falls on the parents, man. Just cutting them loose.
No,
like,
I mean, there is. Don't for one second, you have to believe because it's true. There's parents out there that will turn their head the other direction to get their kid
100%.
famous.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Even on a different note, it's funny how the different industries in this rings true. This pattern, motocross racing right now in recent years, it's gotten to be where the parents' thought is, and this has been put in this uh, thought process is being done by trainers, that you have to send your kids off to these training camps. You have to send these kids off to these places, to these compounds.
Mhm.
And so what's happening is who teaches at the compounds? It's usually a motocross guy that didn't make it.
Mhm.
He doesn't have much education because he was raised in a compound.
Yeah.
And so he's teaching over here, doing this, whatever, a flunky, a halfway made it guy. But anyway, what you have is a lot of these kids with parents sending the money, and the kids live there. And there was a guy that came out just a year or so ago, was talking about all the abuse and
Shit.
sexual abuse that goes on
Yeah, man.
in these things, and it kind of mirrors the same thing on a smaller scale
Sure.
and on an industry that no one has a spotlight on.
Yeah.
But
It's yeah.
but you see that same thing. It's the same thing, right? Your parents send you off to go seek fame and fortune,
Mhm.
and at all costs,
Mhm.
because we're invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's something fishy, probably not happening. Keep going.
Yeah. Um,
It's sad.
to that point, there was another kid that was in that movie, and he was going for music, He was a singer, like Broadway singer. He was 13 or 14. Anyway, they gave him this. The manager he had. I forget what his name was. The manager he had was like, I think his name was Mario or something like that. And he was so close to the family, they didn't think nothing of it. Like he was there for Thanksgiving and shit. He's there sitting breaking bread with them and shit. And you don't know this guy's a monster and he's taking advantage of your kid and shit. And then your parents just ship him off.
You know,
It's
look,
crazy.
think about it. We all know the very famous story of the gymnast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Every one of these
The
parents
doctor?
wanted their daughters to be the next Olympic gymnast, and so they're all going to the
same doctor.
same camp, the same doctor, and he's abusing every one of them.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. Like I said, I didn't mean to make it dark and shit, but I found it very fascinating, man. I found it not in a good way. Of course not. I'm just saying it was interesting.
Informationally.
Yeah, dude. It was just like it just snowballs like shit, man. You see this Jerry thing and this damn. I mean, you would think this documentary, this open secret documentary, the documentary. I looked at it, I was like, this must be like a year old or something. No, it's like 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and it's like, damn, nobody gives a shit. And they wouldn't let it be released in theaters. They wouldn't let it be released in theaters. They wouldn't let it be streaming on anywhere. The only way you can get it is on Vimeo. That's the only way you can watch it. You can't watch it anywhere else. It's not anywhere else. Because I was trying to find it when I heard about it when I was reading about it. I said, where can I watch this? Nowhere. It says it's nowhere to be seen. You got to look. You got to get the little app.
It
to
doesn't
watch it.
surprise me at all.
It's
Man.
just like-
That's crazy.
Yeah, they don't want you to see this shit. So the guy
They don't want to open eyes. Is what they want.
yeah, so the guy that was writing this article, and back to this open. I'll get off this after this guy. The open secret documentary. After there was a guy that was writing an article on this stuff. He goes after he finished his article, he was going to publish it, and they said, "No, we're not going to publish it. We're gonna pay you 75% of what we're going to pay you. We're going to pay you for your whatever cost you endured. We'll pay for those off, but you're not. We don't want this to be released anymore." So they just canceled the whole. He was writing a big article.
Yeah.
It was basically the same thing of what the documentary is about. It's the same kind of article talking about these two guys that were taking advantage of teenage boys and stuff. And he said he was writing this big thing. It was a
Just
huge
pay you
thing.
off. We'll just
and
pay you off.
and fuck off. Like we don't want to release this. It was for a big magazine
It's
or
called
yeah.
Hush Money.
Yeah. Big time, dude. But he said, so it's Hollywood. You're making money. They don't give a shit. They don't want to hear about what's going on back. They don't want you to know what's going on because they're making money. Hollywood's making money. That's how California makes it. That's their bread and butter is movies. So anyway, that's what that was about, man. So if you get a chance to open, it's an open secret. It's a documentary. Like I said, you can find it on that Vimeo, right? Is that what it's called? Vimeo? Yeah. Check it out, man. If you you want to be depressed for a little bit, check it out.
That's a dark rabbit hole.
I'm already depressed now.
Jeez.
No, man.
Johnny was talking about Hush Money. What about Papa T? Might be
Trumpy?
yeah, might be
They might be locking him up.
hitting the clean.
By the time this comes out, he'll probably be locked up and 3 hots in the cot and shit. 3 hots in the cot. He might be passing that
He's saying that
pass the wire.
yeah,
Passing the wire.
he's saying that because like nothing official has come out,
No.
at least that I know of yet. Nothing official has come out, but he's already trying to get ahead of the story by
Mhm.
saying I'm going to be arrested on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and it's for campaign finance violation because he paid hush money to Stormy Daniels 2 weeks before the election or something like that, and he's kind of going, I'm gonna get arrested.
So she's the one that had the attorney who's now in prison, right?
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
had a good
Michael
name.
Avenatti.
Yeah. He had a good name. His
Is
name
she
was
in
good.
prison?
No, I
No,
don't think so.
She's not.
No.
Okay.
No,
But
he-
I had heard one reporter say, like, what does it matter if he's giving her money? That's nobody else's business. Right? Like, okay, just because he's gonna, he's going for his presidential race, what he did was his business. Not your business, not your business, not your business. It was his business.
Yeah.
But
Unless he's cutting checks out of the
yeah,
campaign-
exactly.
the campaign
Where's the
checkbook.
book?
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
get the book.
And so I think maybe he was thumbing through his checkbooks and going, oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna get arrested on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I'm giving you a heads up, man.
Heads up.
I'm gonna be in the chain.
The clean.
Putting him back in chains, man. Putting him back in chains. On a lighter note, to fucking switch it up from the perviness there. This guy, man. I was watching ESPN because I was trying to catch up because the Final Four was coming up and March Madness is here, man. So I'm trying to catch up. I didn't know the Texas Longhorns hadn't been in the Sweet 16 in like shit. Was it 15 something years? It's been a long ass time since they've been in the Sweet
A
16.
long time.
U of H is in it though.
U of H, yep. I was gonna say,
I was
yeah.
going to say I've been keeping up with it a little bit and whatever, and I saw that U of H was still in there.
Yeah, we're still fighting, man. Still battling Sweet 16.
They've been in there a few times.
Yeah,
U of
yeah.
H.
Yeah.
I have because I did a little bracket thing for it, and I had Texas losing to U of H actually in the next round.
Mhm.
So, but they both got to win,
Yeah.
this round.
Texas Southern's out of it, right?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Oh, Michael Strahan's team.
Yeah.
They're
So yeah, I was catching up on football. Aaron Rodgers, I think, might be going to the Jets.
He is.
Yeah,
I think it's official now.
That guy, Lazard or Lizard. I don't know. Allen,
Lizard.
wide receiver. He used to be on the Packers. His main wide receiver is already at the
Oh,
Jets.
yeah.
He's already at the Jets now. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, he's coming, dude. Like he's gonna come. He's gonna be a
Yeah.
Jet. So
Yeah, I think it's official now.
Yeah.
I think
when I was reading it this morning, when I was watching ESPN, they were saying it was gonna happen. So it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. But while I was watching ESPN, man, they played this little small documentary on this kid. I'm gonna probably butcher his name. Is Dania? Is it Dania? Dania. He's a 14-year-old kid. Don't show the image just yet. He's a 14-year-old kid, wrestler, and he's a wrestler in New York. Yeah. So when he was a kid, he was 8 years old, and he and his buddy, him and his cousin and his brother they're from the Congo. They were out there in the national park. They're out there playing the Congo, having a good time. Chimpanzees attack him. Him and his cousin and his brother. He's the one that he survives. And if you pull the image up, it rips his face and rips his lips off, and it tore his. And that's what he looks like now. But when he was a kid, man, he had to get multiple uh, skin face surgeries. But they brought him to the States because his mom died when that attack happened on him. His mom was dead already. She had been dead already, and his dad didn't have any. They were just poor. They were in great poverty, man. So they brought him to the States, and what was the place called? It's a nonprofit organization called Smile Rescue for kids,
Yeah.
and they brought him over here, and they started doing all these skin
Like skin
face,
grafts?
skin grafts and restructuring his face and whatnot, and so anyway, and so what it is when he was a kid, they saw that he had a talent for the wrestling, and a family. This gentleman's name was Miguel Rodriguez, a coach, an assistant wrestling coach up in New York. Saw this potential, man. He goes, man, this kid's got some skills, man. He's aggressive. He's got the right technique, and now he's 14 years old, and he's a champion of the 102 division, and he's a champion right now at Nassau. And I think he wrestled this past weekend, and he took third place. But I mean, he's got he's got nothing but the sky's the limit for this kid, man. He's gonna be amazing. He's only
Yeah.
14, man. I think he's gonna be huge. I'm sure he'll get all kinds of scholarships to college and whatnot.
That's
But
awesome.
his story is just amazing to power through that. And of course, he got bullied because of the way he looked and shit. And
I don't know,
And-
man. The E might call him up.
yeah, right.
Sure.
But it was just crazy, man, that this kid went through all this shit, man, and he just still strong enough. They noticed the change in him, like as he started doing the wrestling, like he always had his head down before, and he always walked around not looking up. But when he started doing the wrestling, he started being confident. He's walked with his shoulders back, and he had a strut about him once he started doing this wrestling thing.
That's
man.
what my trainer told me when I first got into the business. Because you kind of get in there and you're like kind of shy.
Nervous and shit.
Yeah, you're just like you don't know where you're at, and you're not. You have build your character. You haven't got the confidence to do what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And just like he said, like he told me, he's like, you better look up, pop your chest out.
Get some swagger.
Yeah, because those people that pay the good money,
Oh, yeah.
for the seats, the cheap seats, they need to see you.
Yeah.
They want to see
It's
you.
true. They want to see you.
They want to get their
So I
money's
totally
worth,
get
man.
it.
They gotta get this money's worth. But yeah, man, I thought that was a hell of a story to see this kid, man, come from the Congo, man. He came from nowhere, poverty. He said, I had to get out of school at 8 years old. I had to get out of school because I had nothing to eat, man. So I had to, beg in the streets or whatever the case. And then, like I said, that nonprofit organization, they found out about him and they brought him, like I said, they brought him to the States. And now he got adopted by the assistant coach that was his assistant wrestling coach. His family adopted him. So now he's got a family and shit. So
Man.
It's a great story, man. It's powerful.
So
story, man.
I'm just, what's next over here, man? We're on a roller coaster. Keith brought us down. He took us down in the bottom.
Yeah, he did.
Now he's
we
taking
were
us
at the
out
bottom
here
of the barrel
to
for a little bit.
Now there's a rainbow over here
No,
now,
yeah,
and it's
nah.
like,
No, it was just I saw that, dude. Like, Sports Center got me, man. They hook you in because they give you those little stories, man. They're great, man.
Yeah.
It's like the little 15-minute stories, and that was one of them, and it was just really good. And I just caught my eye, man. Like I said, to go through that shit and come from nothing to be where he's at now, it's.
I hope they
shit.
show the kids in school stuff like this.
Yeah, he's an honor student
what I
too,
mean?
man. He's not just an athlete; he's an honor student. He's a bright kid, man. Very smart, very quick.
It's raining outside. We're gonna watch this video.
Yeah, no shit, right?
And they show this stuff.
I said shit like that. I think those are true heroes. I think that kids like that are great, man. It's a good story. It's a good feel good story kind of thing. But then also going back to the sports thing, but going to like football, Joe Burrow and all these guys. Joe Burrow, I think it's Hurts and Herbert or Aber or Herbert, whatever. They're all looking for contracts, man. It's getting close to that time where it's time. It's time to pay up, man. And Hurts wants money, dude. He wants to get
Oh,
paid,
yeah.
man. He wants big money. And then the other thing, the reason why was because Odell Beckham Jr. He wants, what did he say? Somebody offered him $4 million. He's like, nah, I want 20 because I want 20 for 1 year. I want 20. And the reason why it's going to be a bust is because he's been going to different camps and been, showing himself off, and people are just not impressed with him. They're not.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying.
Hey, he's post injury too.
you're not
So-
interviewing well right now.
Yeah, you're not doing too good right now. Yeah.
They're like, you got the job, and he's like, well, I want a better job.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'll take 4 or 5.
Because I think they offered him, like I said, 4 or 5. Somebody did, and he's like, nah. He goes, I want 20. He goes, I need to get 20. So the rumor mill is he might be going back to the Giants, back to New York. They're saying that he might be going back to.
He's high on his horse right now, huh?
Very high, very high. But like I said, nobody's biting though, man. Nobody wants it. People, like I said, he's been at these camps and shit. They've been watching it, but nobody's taking. Nobody wants nothing to do with it, man. Nobody's interested.
It's that old saying: if you could buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thought he was, make some money right now, huh?
Yeah.
And yeah, he's kind of I don't know. I think he's kind of full of shit, man. Like I said, I know he's got to kind of prove himself, man. Like you say, he just come off an big ass injury. He just.
Hey, speaking of prove himself, Zeke.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. See you later, Zeke.
Uh,
Yeah, that was
Somebody else is gonna have a food bill.
Yeah,
They had to feed him.
that grocery bill got big.
Bye, Zeke.
Yeah, that
See
was it was unfortunate, but it was time to part ways, man. It was time to part ways with him.
I mean, I gotta be honest, man. I don't even know that it's unfortunate to me. I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm saying he's certainly not worth. Let me rephrase. He didn't give us. He didn't give the Cowboys what they were paying him.
So are they gonna pay Pollard now or not?
They better.
Yeah, that and between that and Cook, that new
better.
guy they signed Cook from the
Yeah.
Texans. Yeah, so that we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, it all depends on how it meshes well, man. Like I said, from what I was gathering from the talking heads there, they were saying that if Mike McCarthy doesn't get his shit together, and start calling, he hasn't called the plays in like 2 or 3 years or something like that. He said if you don't get his shit together, it won't work, man. It won't mesh well. It just won't mesh well.
Well, I mean,
Somebody's got to be right.
Tony
man.
Pollard in the back,
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb on one side, Brandon Cooks on the other side. I mean, it should be a good offense. Now the question is, can the ball get to them?
Yeah,
can
there's
get
the short. There's a short behind the center, right? Isn't that where there's a
yeah.
malfunction?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a
There's a yeah. We
got some hiccups. Yeah, Bills.
the Bills.
Zeke might be going to the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
Oh,
right,
wow.
man. Yeah.
Jimmy G going to the Raiders.
going to the Raiders.
Crazy, dude.
He and his brothers are going to have a time in Vegas.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think Derek Carr got the raw end of the deal?
Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt like he's a good quarterback, but he just couldn't win with the teams that he had, and then he was like the face of that football team, and then they were just like,
You know what? You know what I
okay.
think it hurts some guys, and I just think he's one of them. Maybe it's just me. I don't think he's likable,
fair. That's fair.
and I think that talent aside, I think that hurts some of those guys. They're not likable. They don't have a big fan base. He doesn't have. That's
He's not a big
that's
personality.
that's bad to say. I mean, he has a way bigger fan base than I do.
Yeah, yeah.
He's,
But-
he's
but I
not a
mean-
big personality.
No,
On that stage, on that kind of stage.
some of those guys, they're just more likable. Even oh gosh, taking Tom Brady's place.
Uh,
I'm drawing a blank right now. Mustache.
see.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, Mayfield. Yeah.
He's a character.
Hmm?
People like to see Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield news, right?
You got commercials and shit.
Yeah.
With the stadium and even the lights on the stadium and shit.
That guy, this is his seventh team,
Mhm.
sixth
Yeah.
team.
But he's
only been in the league for a couple of years.
But I mean, he just keeps getting another job. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, bring him around. He's a fun guy.
yeah,
Just want to hang out with him. Yeah. Hang
yeah.
out with his ass. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Man.
It's like I don't know.
He got in some trouble at OU, man, when he was playing there. He was being lewd on the sideline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, giving some of those locker room gestures to the other team.
Nice, dude.
He got caught on camera doing that a couple of times. He got in trouble.
I know he was. Yeah, he's a cut up, and like I said, I know that he does really well with the TV. Like I said, he does well with commercials and shit like that. He's just good. Like I said, if you got a personality like that for that, it works, man.
Yeah.
He keeps the locker room live.
Yeah. Not unlike what's his name? Kaepernick. He wasn't likable.
No.
Kaepernick. Even despite the whole bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't care about that.
It's just like
he wasn't like. I didn't think he was likable.
Yeah.
not that likable
Yeah.
kind of guy. I think that
Get a chip on his shoulder.
I get that from Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
God, he's just
Not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Is he one of the best tight ends? Absolutely. Is a guy talented?
Hell yeah.
I mean, it seems like they can't cover him, but
Nobody can.
when
Yeah.
they put a microphone in front of him, I'm just like, wow, man, this
Good.
guy's
I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him. Not a fan at all, man.
I think the best NFL personality right now is George Kittle, the tight end from the 49ers.
He just looks like he's living a dream,
Yeah,
right?
he's just having fun, dude. He just looks like a big kid out there, just goofing off.
Yeah.
He'll be in the huddle, and like the sky cam will come over, whatever, and he'll just be like, like right in the middle. They're like calling a play, and he's like,
Don't give a
that's
shit.
cool.
Distracted,
That's
man.
cool.
Distracted. Yeah, man. I didn't want to make it dark, man. But I saw those things. They were really captivating, man. Just very, like I said, them secrets, man. It's Hollywood's a dirty place, man. Like I said, and I always wanted to go to Hollywood as well, but
I'm still
I'm
trying
gonna
to
keep
work on it, man. But I'm
watch the rear there.
Did
man.
you
Keep the rear
dream
tight.
about that when you were a kid? You want to be an actor? You want to go do that?
I always did do something, man, because I always saw these kids like, I watched that little son of a bitch Mikey eat the cereal. I said, I can do better than him, man. I'll eat the damn cereal and I'll show you how to do it right, man. And Mikey wouldn't shit, Mikey likes it. I could fuck Mikey, dude. I could be better than Mikey, man.
I wanted to be in that Different Strokes house, man, with that.
With Kimberly, or what was her name?
Yeah, I think she's in. She dead.
She did. I think she's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah. Dana Plato.
Man, they were
Yeah.
all messed up.
I was upset at Silver Spoons, dude. I wanted to be in that place.
That was a cool
I
house.
wanted to hang out.
I wanted
with
to drive the freaking train.
man.
Train.
Golly.
I mean, the Brady's house.
The Brady's did have a nice house.
nice.
Brady's a great. I did that little
Double levels.
yeah. The floating stairs.
Floating
the-
stairs.
the
your
brick
dad's an architect,
everything.
man.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
just-
Like,
yeah,
why wouldn't you have that
That'd
house?
be pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Alice.
Alice.
Hey, cook me a pizza or something. Yeah.
Alice was
Sam would bring her the meat, though,
butcher.
wouldn't
He
he?
had that meat. Serve up that meat, man.
Woo.
Butcher.
Yeah.
They always did a bowling night. They always had the bowling league and shit. That was the thing. No, I always loved. I was always fascinated with movies.
Jan
and
was
TV.
always pissed off about something.
She was always bitching about being the middle kids and shit.
I also always thought that it was cool to like when you would watch Full House and they do the wide outside shot and you see all the shotgun houses. I mean I had never been to San Francisco, so I was just like, oh, that's cool.
I've been to that house.
Have you really?
Yes. I wasn't a big Full House watcher, but we were in San Francisco, and Christy and Brooke wanted to go by that house,
Oh,
so we
shit.
did.
Nice, dude.
We went and
That's
checked it
cool.
out.
Nice.
They thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was another house.
Just another house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Saget, dude.
Bob
Rip.
Saget. They said the parents would keep the kids away from the parents would tell their kids would keep them. They just didn't like him. The parents of the other actors, the actresses and actors.
Bob Saget?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
they said he was
kind of raunchy.
what inappropriate. He was inappropriate.
Yeah,
at
he was
times.
very raunchy.
He was,
Yeah.
and people didn't know that. People didn't
Yeah.
know that he was raunchy or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you watch any of his any of his
Mhm.
any of his stand up stuff or whatever,
for
and you
sure.
would be shocked.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
that's coming from Danny Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny, these iconic houses and places that we, the Seinfeld apartment or whatever. What about, the Three's Company apartment with that round top door.
Uh-huh.
Remember that?
I love
Yeah.
that. The other one
That's
that's big.
Furley.
The other one that's big right now is everybody's going to the Friday house or Friday
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's a big one right now.
No,
and
the Fast and Furious house.
that one too.
Because
Yeah,
they
that
got
one too,
everybody
yeah.
doing freaking burnouts in front of the
Nice,
in
dude.
front of the
Oh,
house.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
And
that
the
was
people
that.
that live there are like, get these people out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for real.
I got a question for you. You mentioned his name on the Three's Company.
Mr. Furley.
Were you Furley or Roper?
Nah, I was Furley.
Furley.
Furley,
Oh, yeah.
bro.
Furley.
Furley.
Don
Oh,
Knotts,
yeah,
man.
Don Knotts.
Knotts.
Don
Knotts is
Knotts,
shit,
yeah.
man.
I had to choose Furley.
He always had that one bullet. Had that one bullet in his pocket. Andy wouldn't let him have shit, dude. Andy wouldn't let him load his
Dude,
gun up.
I think his movies hold up too, man. Like going back and watching some of his movies.
Mhm.
I just think they're funny.
He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
He was a really funny guy. And those guys are the special kind of funny guys because
His facial
they're willing to
expressions.
be the butt end of the joke.
Yeah. What was
Oh, yeah.
what was the one he was in with the ghost house or whatever?
Oh
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What was it, Jen?
I liked
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
something
yeah,
I-
yeah.
I liked the Apple Dumpling Gang myself. He was him and I forget what the other
The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's the one.
Don Knotts in
Don
Ghost and
Knotts.
Mr. Chicken.
Yeah.
Knotts, man. He was
That's a
character.
funny movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna come on. You're gonna play the weakling. You're gonna
Yeah.
play the goof. It really is something to go on and go. You know what? I'm gonna entertain folks. I'm gonna be the butt end of that joke.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. That's pretty cool.
Get
Would you
paid,
put-
man.
Yeah.
I get paid. Shit.
Would you put Kramer in that same category?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Weird. You're the weird cat that
Mhm.
no one wants to be around.
He
or-
was when I first saw what's his name? His name is what's Richards? Michael Richards.
Mhm.
The first time I saw him was in Transylvania 65000. That's when I first saw him.
I didn't know he was in there.
He
Yeah.
was also in U of H with Weird Al Yankovic. He was in that one too.
Oh yeah?
He was a janitor in that one. He was a janitor. Oh, the bowtie killer from Problem Child.
Did he have that hair back then, or was that a
Yeah,
Seinfeld?
No, he still had the hair
yeah,
in
he had the-
Transylvania 65000.
Yeah. And then I think in U of H he had it slicked back. I think.
I
can't
like that
remember.
painting.
Yeah, that's a class. That's fancy. Dude. That's high class shit, man. Oh, where was I gonna go with that, man? But yeah, all these iconic houses, man. Oh, like the one from Christmas Story. That one's big. It's Indiana, right? Indiana. That one's where that's at. I think it's Indiana. The Christmas Story house.
Yeah.
Ralphie.
I looked up the Amityville house once. I think
You can stay in that one,
you can
can't
see
you?
where it is. I can't
Like
remember.
Airbnb.
I
You
think I
can
remember the
pass.
story that the house that was used in the show is not the house.
Okay.
There's another house that was the original.
And then
Amityville house.
I think is the Christmas Story house. You can stay in it too. You can
Stay in that
stay in it or no? Oh, okay.
like tour it or
yeah.
whatever.
I thought there was one you could
Like,
stay.
why
in.
wouldn't you make money off your house if it was
I would. Shit,
iconic
mean,
like
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
I would.
Like I don't even have to live here. Just collect the cash off of it.
It's iconic, man. People want to just take pictures in front. That's all they want to do is just take pictures in front of your house and shit.
Yeah.
Just why not? Oh,
It's funny though. It's like watching stuff as a kid, and it's you have so much more of an imagination when you're a kid than when you're an adult. When you're an adult, you're not watching those shows and looking at the houses and going, "Man, I wish I lived there," you know. But like as a kid, you watch it with a different perspective. As a kid, you watch it like, "Oh, this is like it's like these are famous people," you know. Like this is a famous family.
I
that's,
thought
you know,
the
whatever.
Different Strokes house was so cool because it had the staircase in the front and that little spiral staircase.
Where was
Mhm.
where
Kitchen.
where did the Different Strokes take place?
I think it was Chicago.
Was it
it
Chicago
was
or New
Chicago.
York?
I thought it was Chicago because when they were driving on the opening scene, I think they were near water, which is I think that on Chicago. I might could be wrong, but I think it was in Chicago.
That's like Married with Children.
Yeah.
So the shot from Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah, Christmas. Yeah.
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 That shot and then the shot that they used for Married with Children is the same shot.
Yeah, they ripped it
Oh,
off.
really?
Yeah,
They
they
ripped
yep.
it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Where was it
crazy. I
at?
didn't
New
know
York.
that.
New York. Okay, so it took place in New York. Different Strokes. Okay, I thought it was Chicago for some reason. But couldn't get away with that now. Rich man taking two little black kids in a limo. Couldn't get away with that shit now, man. Couldn't do that. Couldn't happen, man. But yeah, Arnold was. Is Arnold alive? I don't even know if he's alive anymore, huh? Arnold. Jennifer? I don't know if he's alive.
Oh, I saw
Anyway.
a clip the other day from in the heat of the night. You remember in the heat of the night?
Yeah, fucking Archie Bunker, man.
Yes, and the his detective was what's his name?
The black gentleman.
Yeah, he kind of has big eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
they were interviewing a guy.
That took place in Georgia.
Yes,
Right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it
They
is.
were interviewing a guy, and he had evidently, I guess it was like a rape scenario. It was a small little clip, but he said, "Did you have relations with this girl or something?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, I did." And of course, Archie Bunker, what's his name in that show? I don't remember. But anyway,
yeah.
he looks at the guy and he goes, "Man, she's retarded."
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and that was
because
yeah.
he was had violated
Yeah.
someone who had a mental
Yeah,
condition.
yeah.
But that was on that show. He just said, "Man, that girl's retarded."
And he got away with it. Yeah.
I don't think you can say that
No,
right
I don't think
now.
so. That's
Nope.
it's the R word. Yeah.
Nope.
Was it?
Hey, no, my kid called me out on that shit.
Hey,
so.
it was a couple of years ago. A NASCAR driver got in trouble with that, right? Because somebody said, "What kind of move was that guy did, or something?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. He's retarded." And
Yeah.
he almost got canceled over that.
My son called me out on that. I was like, what are you doing? Stop being retarded.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, you
Hey,
can't say
but,
that.
well, I mean, we show our age. We didn't mean anything really derogatory when we say that or would say that, but used to be tolerated, maybe not so now.
Not so much now.
We'll post a list of words you cannot
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you could say
Hey,
10 years
from
ago.
now on, we'll just sit here and be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just nod and smile.
yeah. We doing it? And then just like sit there. That's it.
The other thing was too the retarded word too. I mean, I know it's frowned upon, but even Family Guy changed it. Man, Family Guy had this episode where Peter brings him a horse, and the horse's eyes are like, they're looking this way, the opposite way. He goes, and Lois is like, "What's wrong with that horse? It looks like it has a problem." She goes, "Yeah, like, you notice?" He said, "Good eye, Lois. Horse is retarded." And now they took it out. They took it, and now he goes, "Now this horse is." I forget what he said. He changed it to something. I was like, "This horse has got to."
That surprises me for
They
Family
changed it.
Guy.
Yeah, they
That's
switched. They
crazy.
changed it out, man. They had to switch it out. man.
Crazy. I mean, watch some old Barney Miller episodes or something,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you see they're not even trying to be controversial. It's just some of the things that are said. It like there was one episode where a wife was complaining about her husband having his way with her,
Yeah.
basically, and they kind of insinuated, "Well, he's your husband. He
You can do that.
could do that."
Oh,
You're-
no.
You're his property. You're the sandwich maker.
Property of.
Yeah.
Sandwich maker.
Like, wow.
Oh, he's brain damaged. That's what he changed it to from being. He's retired, Lois. To he's got
Here,
brain damage.
Put this cut on. Property
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
so
man.
I just imagine that they didn't redo the animation either. They just like dubbed over.
oh,
it, so
they
it's
dubbed over.
like-
Oh yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
Good call, Lois. He's brain
Oh, my
damaged.
God.
Yeah, it's
You know
all,
what I mean?
it's all awkward and shit. Yeah.
I can't listen to Seth MacFarlane anymore. Like,
No. Yeah.
everything that he does, all I hear is like Stewie and Brian.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I hear.
Dude, the dude can sing, man.
Yeah.
He can sing his ass off, man.
Pipes
He
on
can
him,
sing.
dude.
He's very talented, man. See, all those musical numbers they do on Family Guy, those are him. Like, actually, he wrote those and performed them and shit.
Well,
Just
he's watching. What's that one he's doing right now? It's called starts with an O.
Orville.
Orville.
That's
I don't know if to take it serious or if it's like.
I think it's comedy satire. I think it's just supposed to be sarcastic. I guess like it's space thing is.
Hard for one of those guys to go serious. Like
Oh yeah.
when Jim Carrey came out with that the Majestic,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then also the other one.
You're
too.
watching it going, where's the funny part?
Yeah,
No,
was he gonna
bro,
be
but-
funny?
Hey, Sandler killed it in Uncut Gems.
Jim, so that was good. Yeah.
Dude.
Punch Drunk Love too. Punch
Killed
Drunk
it,
Love.
dude.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love. Yeah, yeah, that one too.
Hunka-cha.
she was the muse for that. I'm trying to think what else he was pretty serious. That one,
Spanglish.
no, that too. The Jim Carrey one. It was like he was like,
Oh, Truman Show.
no, the other one. It's like dark. It's real dark. The dark one. It's like
Sandler?
It's no.
Or Carrie.
Jim
Carrey.
Did he do Andy Kaufman?
Yeah, he did great at that.
and that was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
yeah,
that.
Eternal Sunshine of the.
Oh,
Spotless Mind.
Yeah, that was a
Yep.
great one, man.
didn't see that. I
Creepy
never
as
saw
shit, dude.
that.
It's dark as shit, man.
Hey, and that's
I loved it.
Rubberface, man. Rubberface, if he can get serious like that,
He's great, man. Like I said,
he can do it.
I don't like him now, but it was as an actor and whatnot, he's great.
He seems a little. Not going to use the R word. He seems a little mental, right?
He's on
Out
a whole
there.
nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah, spiritual, ain't he?
Yeah.
Spiritual now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's all centered and shit. He found his center.
He'll call you out on anything.
Yeah, he found his chi, all that good shit.
Man, he went through a phase. I don't know if this is still part of the phase he's in, but he went through a phase where, I mean, the weird art thing that he would do.
Oh, yeah.
And like he would go on these long monologues
Yeah.
in interviews about just the most obscure things. And
Dude,
So,
go ahead.
Keith, you're an artist, so you probably have more insight in this than any of us here. And you see this at times. Do you think that some of those really talented artists, it's almost it not uncommon for them to be a little bit
Yeah, and I think, and
different upstairs?
it's a shitty thing to say, but it's not a shitty thing to say about them for me. It's just shitty for me because like I feel like the deeper and the weirder they are, their shit sells. When you're like me, I'm just a cartoonist. I just do cartoon illustration kind of thing. So my shit's never gonna sell, but it could be just a smear of paint, and you say, "Well, I wanted to kill myself," and this is what that. If it has a deep meaning and they're whacked out, it's gonna sell. I won't sell shit because I'm not that deep. Because mine comes from me being a kid watching cartoons. That's where my shit comes from, just illustration. Mine is not. There's no deep meaning to it because I just like to paint.
it's almost like the art behind installations like that
Yeah.
has absolutely nothing to do with the actual
Yeah.
art and more to do with the description that you read about it. So you'll see like it'll be like a white corner of a room with like a broken vacuum cleaner in the corner or whatever, and then it's just this long like a description about
this is
how
done by Trent. He was so troubled.
So yeah.
But that's like Warhol, dude. Warhol was on a whole nother level. Like
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
I think it was all the LSD is what I think it was.
I can see his pain in the broken
Yeah.
In the
bits of
broken
glass.
They were.
Okay.
It was a different time back then.
The cable is cut.
Yeah. It's
Symbolizing.
the soup. Like when he did the soup cans. It was like, all right, cool. Soup cans. Campbell's soup.
He was hungry.
Yeah, or you just had a cold or something.
Yeah, he was just high and hungry and
He was
didn't
high and hungry, and it was
feed a
like,
cold. Yeah, feed us cold.
Campbell's.
But that's what I'm saying. The deeper those cats are, the more they sell. Because I've always come to the conclusion I've learned from old cats, working with old guys, always working around older men, older generations. They're always like, when you're in a room with people, the guy that's talking the most doesn't know shit. The guy that's quiet, that's the smartest guy in the room. The guy that's quiet, the guy that's talking, running his mouth, that he knows this, he knows this, he knows this. He don't know shit. He's just running his mouth, and I think that's what those artists, like you said, the big description. They're explaining it all because the art's shit.
the
but
art not there. Yeah.
But that's my opinion. But that's how I grew up, man. I always learned through older men. That's what they say is like the quietest guy in the room. That's the guy you listen to because he's probably got the answer. He's probably got the answer you're looking for. It's just like Jen's dad. He works on hot rods and shit. He gets around other hot rod guys. There's one guy that's talking. Where's your car? He doesn't even have a car.
Yeah.
But my father-in-law,
Oh,
he's the
God.
quiet. My father-in-law's a quiet guy. He's got 3 or 4 hot rods over here that he built by hand. So that's how I look at shit like that when people say when they have a big description. That guy talks great. Yeah, he talks great because he don't know shit. That's why he has a great vocabulary. He's smart, but
Yeah.
he don't
what's
know
the-
shit.
The saying, it's better to be thought of as an idiot than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
true, yeah.
Exactly, dude.
I'm thinking about like there was a story about an art installation that was a banana that was half open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they
Taped
set
it?
it out. It was
It's
taped
taped,
against the
yeah.
wall. Yeah. And the whole thing was to come back every day and look at it, and watch it rot.
Yeah.
And like watch to see the banana.
Do you know how? You remember
rot
what they sold
away.
that for?
Nuh-uh.
$500,000.
What?
$500,000. So I'm saying, see, that's why I can't make.
I missed
won't
out,
make it.
man. I missed
I won't
out.
make it, dude. I won't make it as an artist because
That shit happens in my freaking.
I think it was about
My kitchen.
500,000. I think it was it
All right,
500,000?
here we go. Ready?
Let's see.
Hey,
Let's see if I was right.
tape one of those tacos to the wall.
Yeah. What was it sold
Here we go.
for?
This is it.
That's it.
Hey, that's Diet Lime. Is what that is.
That's it, dude.
Diet Lime.
That's it.
$10,000 right there.
Man, right now.
Or you sold it for 120,000, or was it? Oh, that wasn't the actual piece.
That wasn't even the actual piece.
Oh shit. Jesus. Never mind then. I was wrong. But
That's one special banana.
no shit, dude. That's a hell of a Chiquita. That Chiquita was expensive as shit, dude.
120.
Damn.
Just a banana taped against the wall.
I'll take a dole for fucking $1, man. Fuck Chiquita.
Plantain.
Jeez.
17-page paper about how it's important.
Yeah, dude, and that's bullshit, dude. Um, what was the other thing too? There was another piece like that. There was oh, it's just like I don't know if you ever seen the movie Ghost World, and
Oh, yeah.
that's the kind of that's the kind of that's what I've come into it being an artist. That's what I've noticed is like in Ghost
Scarlett
World.
Johansson.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So they're in an art class, and this one gal, she's like me. She's an illustrator. She paints Don Knotts, and the lady's like, "Why'd you paint Don Knotts?" She goes, "I just like Don Knotts. I painted Don Knotts." And there's another girl in the room, and she goes, "Now this is that higher class of art." And what it was a teacup, and it had a tampon in the teacup.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, now see, this is that higher level." And she goes, "What? Explain it to me." She says, "Well, I see it as the olden days when ladies used to have tea parties and they're talking about their femininity and they're being strong women." And she's like, "That's what I'm talking about." It's like that's the higher art. Like, and I'd have been the Don Knotts guy. I'd have been
Brilliant.
yeah, exactly,
Hey,
dude.
genuine question. It, you literally just put a cup down and drop a tampon
Yeah,
in, right?
it's
There's
art.
nothing like it. Does more go into it than
No,
that?
that's it, dude. There's no talent there. I mean, yeah, I mean, I know you're explaining shit, but whatever. I mean, it's just I don't know.
You know, and a little bit is they try to do some shock value, right?
Sure, that always sells.
So shock value.
It's like the artist that did I don't know if you ever seen the Metallica cover. It's
Yep.
it's the yellow, it's Jesus, and it
Yep.
looks like it's in sun, but it's not sun. It's a Jesus uh necklace instead of a cup, and it's piss, and they just shine
Yep.
the light. It looks like sunbeams, but he's in piss. It's in a cup of piss. Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah.
never knew the Boston album was a guitar.
Yeah. The ship.
It looked like I always thought it was
Spaceship.
just a spaceship.
And that
fire
same
coming out of the bottom.
What?
And that same artist did that Metallica cover, the reload or the fuel, I think is or fuel reload. I can't remember which one it was. And it's semen and blood. And it looks like flames, but it's the art is semen and blood. That's what it is. There it is. Is that it?
Yeah, it looks like a desert storm or something almost.
And then there's another one. I think it's load. Load. Yeah, load. Load's the one that has the semen.
Semen and blood.
Yep,
What do
and
you
it's
do?
the same artist. It's the same artist that did the Jesus and the piss cup.
Got kicked in the nuts and did
What?
whatever
There
he
it
needed
is.
to do.
There it is. The semen and the blood. Yeah, and people thought it was flames. People thought it was flames, but it wasn't. It was blood and semen.
That's
Oh
wild.
yeah, art, man. That's art. Yeah, and I can't. And like I said, I'll never make it because
That's
I'm
safe,
not
though.
that.
That's safe though. You put a Nirvana baby on there, he's gonna come back and sue you 20 years later.
He's gonna-
Wow.
For sure. There it is. That guitar, dude. That Boston. That guitar, man. That's beautiful.
It's an
That's
upside
art,
down
man.
guitar.
Oh yeah, I see that. Okay.
But they made it look like UFOs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need that shirt now.
Oh, I love that shit. I love that art. I've always loved those posters. I remember back
That's
in the day.
iconic right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember those
that-
posters.
sure.
When I was a kid, they had the posters. I always wanted one. It was fuzzy and it would glow in the dark when you turn the light on, and it
What?
was fuzzy.
It was
like the same one.
flop.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
That's awesome.
I used to love the velvet paintings of Elvis. People used to have the velvet.
I have a
painting.
Jim Morrison
Yeah.
black
Velvet?
light poster. It's
Dude, I
velvet.
love those things, man. Those old velvet
I
paintings.
haven't seen a Velvet Elvis in a while.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time. Dude. I haven't seen.
Go to
my
Chewy's
aunt-
right here on 45 and
Yeah.
My aunt, one of my
Hey,
aunts.
Chewy's has an Elvis room, don't
yes,
Oh, yeah.
no, like look, they have nothing but velvet pennies.
That's what I want. One of those right there, dude.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Hey, you find those at the Mexican swap meet.
Yes, I need to go get one, man. That's what I always wanted. One of those.
with that tear. That
Mhm.
tear coming down.
Yeah, you want to?
In the
Anybody-
ghetto.
Velvet. I used to have a velvet Elvis shirt. I don't know what I did with it, but I used to. I might have stored it away somewhere, but
When his mama cried.
yeah,
I feel like one
velvet
of those.
Elvis.
I feel like one of
shirt.
those velvet Elvis paintings or posters or whatever is like something you would see in the corner of some random like Italian restaurant or something. It's just like one of those random
Yeah.
things that's hung on the wall, you know.
On the way to the shitter.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, see the Elvis? Take a left. Take a
Take a
piss over
left
there.
At that
Go to
Elvis.
the Elvis
I
and
go,
take
yeah,
a left. There you
Which
go.
one, young Elvis or fat Elvis? Fat
Yeah,
Elvis.
take the
That's
fat
fat
one.
Elvis.
Dude, that's why I love Chewy's because
Okay.
that's all they have is like Elvis
Yeah, yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
What was the other thing too? I love there's this line from fucking Reservoir Dogs. It's Mr. Pink, and he's like, where's the commode in this dungeon? I gotta take a squirt. I love that. I love that line. That's like the best line ever, dude. What's his name? I forget his name. The crazy eyes. Mr. Pink. He was I always forget. Yeah.
Steve Buscemi, yeah.
Buscemi, yeah.
The commode. You don't hear the commode.
Yeah,
much
commode,
anymore,
man. Yeah, the commode. That's a
You
good
know him
one.
for Crazy Eyes?
Yeah, Crazy Eyes from what you call it.
Oh, okay.
Mr.
I
Mr.
you,
Deeds.
you
Mr.
look at
Deeds.
Steve Buscemi
Yeah,
going
Mr.
back to
Deeds.
Ghost World. You know,
Oh yeah, he was in
yeah.
that too. Yeah, he had I liked him in the Ghost Story. He had that little thing. At his back.
Oh, and Con Air.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he was good in Con Air,
Dude,
man. He
he-
was creepy as shit in Con Air, dude. He was they had the mask on him and shit.
I forget. Like he's in
He's a
All
little side
genres
character.
of movies.
Yeah.
Side characters. He always
All
is.
genres of movies.
It's funny. It is
Action,
funny.
drama, comedy. He's everywhere.
He's all over the damn joint, man. All right.
Back.
Came back from the pit stop, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. We all good, man? Got anything else, Trent?
I got a
Anybody,
bald
guys?
tire from this pit stop. I was waiting for them to change it.
You gotta drive the way
52.
you gotta drive the way Robert Duvall tells you to do it. You do it better when you do it Duvall's way.
Hey, quick question before
yeah.
we move on.
Yeah.
Out of all the kind of go back to the Hollywood stuff,
Hmm?
you think Ralph Macchio made it okay through all of that?
I think he did.
Okay,
I think
that's all I
I think
had.
he crane kicked his
all I
way
had.
through Hollywood, man.
That's all I had.
He crank his way, dude. He made it all the way through. He swept the leg. He swept the leg.
You got me. On that. You got me, dude.
Yeah.
You got me.
Oh man.
I'll get 53. I'll get 53.
50
All right. Pass the torch.
Yeah, yeah.
Pass it along. Again, man. I wanted to say thank you, Shawn, man, for the tacos, man.
Absolutely,
for the,
man.
for the spread, man. That was
Delicious.
awesome.
Taco Daddy.
Big love.
Great stuff, man.
Can we
Love it.
plug you?
All the time, man. All the time. He's part of the crew here, man. He's always been a part of us. He's brought food the first time we did, like the first couple episodes, he was involved, and he stays involved, man. It's a family thing.
Any
here, man.
IG, Facebook that we can?
Oh, Shawn, just follow Shawn, man. He's always cooking something, man. Shawn on Instagram, Shawn Sanchez on well, I say Sanchez because I'm
Sanchez.
Sanchez. And then on Facebook too, Shawn, follow him, man. And we're gonna have Shawn back out here again at the watering hole. We're gonna do some stuff with him. I got some plans for him, and
Yeah.
I want to do more things with him. And he's like a part of
He's
our,
got
our
the right
crew here, man.
stuff,
Yeah,
man,
man,
for sure.
He's always got good foods, man. He's always got the ends, and got to keep him around. He's a good friend, good guy, always watching out for us. And,
I'm gonna
and
hit him
myself.
up for next Valentine.
Oh yeah, that heart. Get that,
That
heart.
heart.
Man. Get that heart, man.
Yeah.
Heart platter, dude.
You get that heart. Get away
Hey.
with, like I said, you get away with murder.
Hey, anything I want.
Yeah, man. Y'all got anything else?
Got
I
anything
know-
else?
Yeah, I know we want to do. I know Johnny's been chomping at the bit to do a deep dive on Steven Seagal, so we can do some karate in this motherfucker, and then I know we want to do some conspiracy stuff with Trent and
Oh,
Vinny.
dude, we gotta
I know they
do
wanna
some
get in it,
conspiracy
so
stuff.
We're gonna get into. We got a lot of stuff.
Hey,
coming.
hey,
52 more.
Vinny. We landed on the moon, dude.
I got.
Not
I don't want
buying
to
it.
see Google photos, bro. I want to see. I want to see actual.
Not
You
buying
want
it.
to actually go there? That's
Yeah.
what- yeah, we have to do. We have to do a conspiracy episode.
Book my ticket.
For sure.
We'll break out the tinfoil hats.
Well, hats, man.
Break them out again, man.
We'll do that.
But yeah, no, I'm good, man.
Episode
Yeah.
52
Yeah, man.
in the books. This has been the 52 podcast. We'll check you next time. Adios.
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.